So, we're here, we're doing a first impressions of two of the first anime of the winter season. Space Dandy and Nobunaga the Fool. Space Dandy, let's get that out of the way first. Space Dandy was great. Space Dandy was a lot of fun. The meta humor was not really for me. Meta humor is is essentially breaking the fourth wall. Like one of the characters starts talking and then his robot assistant interrupts him and says, "Wait till the narrator finishes the intro," and then the narrator starts his intro. That's meta humor. It's acknowledging, this is a show, hey, we all know we're just characters. And it's not that I don't like meta humor in general. I mean, I own half a dozen Deadpool comics, and Cabin in the Woods is one of my favorite movies of that particular year, so it's not that I don't like meta humor, it's just that I didn't like Space Dandy's meta humor. But the good news is that that seems to be very touch and go. They just make little jokes here and there, and then they don't really put a whole lot of focus around it. If it had, it would have been a disaster, but it's funniest when it just kind of lets its characters breathe, just kind of let them do their own thing. The dub was fine. I'm not going to get into dub versus sub because I don't give a shit. The animation was crazy! It was really good stuff. Even more what you would expect from the studio that's run by Shinichiro Watanabe. This is kind of a little bit more what I think some of us were... Okay, maybe that's putting it wrong. This is... Space Dandy is the kind of show that I expected when... before, when Watanabe said, "Oh, I'm making another show," and he turned out Kids on the Slope. Space Dandy is kind of more what we were... what I was expecting him to have announced back then. I loved Kids on the Slope, but this is a little bit more the speed that we're used to. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It doesn't need to necessarily establish like an overarching story altogether, especially since, I mean, look at Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop. They were very episodic. There wasn't really like a long-term plot that you needed to see every episode to follow. But I'm interested to see if they do, because they introduced a villain character who's also kind of a comic relief type. I'm curious if there's going to be any straight-faced serious characters in this. Because I know Trigun started off being really silly and loopy and stuff like that, and then it got serious. So that's Space Dandy. Nobunaga the Space Dandy, I will definitely... I loved it. You should go check it out. Wherever you can, don't really care. I can already tell it's gonna be one of the front runners for the winter season, or for the winter anime. Nobunaga the Fool is kind of the polar opposites. It doesn't look good. It doesn't particularly stand out in your memory. It starts out... See, I knew nothing about it going into it. I didn't know any kind of preview. I didn't know who was behind it. I just kind of went into it just based off the title, Nobunaga the Fool. It starts off in the Warring States period, as it might suggest. Nobunaga Oda was an actual, historical figure back in the Warring States era in Japan. And then all of a sudden... Okay, so it starts off there, Warring States, feudal Japan, and then there's mechs. And then there's weird kangaroo things that they ride on, but they still make horse noises. And then Leonardo da Vinci showed up, and he had a tuba. And there's spaceships. It's so all over the place. It's so concerned with name dropping, is something that I noticed. They drop, like, Leonardo da Vinci, Magellan, King Arthur, Takeda Shingen. They drop so many names, and they don't establish any characters. I think that's one of the big issues that I noticed right away. they'll drop a name, and they just kind of expect the audience to know, oh, I know that name, I know that person, but this is such a different world, they don't establish who that character really is, what they're about. In the first episode, I don't expect everything to be spelled out, but I should at least get the main cast of characters. And even if you just, in Nobunaga the Fool, even if you just boiled it down to the 3 characters that, have the most screen time, I still don't get any of them. I don't understand any of them whatsoever. How is Hideyoshi able to run on his own while the others have to ride the cat kangaroo alien things? Why does Nobunaga? I don't get like how he sees things, where his sense of humor comes from. It's very, again, it's very alienating. It's like it was trying to be grounded, but they still didn't act like people. It was very bewildering to watch. And that's the thing. That's the perfect word, is bewildering, because it wasn't horrible. It wasn't outright offensive. It wasn't, it was kind of cheap looking, but it wasn't, like King of Hearts or whatever, Queen of Martial Hearts bad. It's very clear that they have, the people behind it have no idea what they're doing. So I guess you could watch it, but I'll watch an episode more or two to kind of see where it goes, but there's not a single thing in there that struck to me as being something worth investing in. The mechs all look incredibly generic. The generic is kind of seemed to be kind of an underlying common denominator through the whole thing. It was very underwhelming. Of course, I'm going to make a reference to Attack on Titan, but they do the thing where the main character, very much like an Attack on Titan, where the main character is so, not shell-shocked, but traumatized. So traumatized by a horrific event that it kind of it changes his character, and he's motivated to do something, to get up and do something about it. They do that same thing, but with Attack on Titan, it's perfect. This, again, is the exact polar opposite. The moment that's supposed to be the big game changer for Nobunaga's character is completely underwhelming. It's almost swept under the rug. It's because there's zero build to it whatsoever. It just kind of happens, and you see him getting upset about it, and you don't understand why he's upset, and you don't understand why, you as an audience member should be upset, because you don't know anything about this world or how it works, or you don't understand the roles of the people that are dying around him. So all that stuff was accomplished in Attack on Titan. This is not. It's just so scattered with everything that it wants to do, with name dropping. It doesn't take the time to explain anything. It doesn't take the time to really establish any kind of connection with characters, or even just a basic understanding of characters. I don't understand what anyone wants. I don't understand how they're able to do any of the things that they're doing. I don't understand how they see things, how their mind works. Yeah, Nobunaga the Fool, not impressed. It honestly is, and I hate to say this because I do like anime, but it's a very, typical anime. The animation is subpar, the writing is garbage. I don't even think you should give it a watch, but if you're really curious on what a bewildering experience it really is, you could give it a watch, I guess, but there's probably going to be better things coming out this season. So, those are my first impressions on those two. I might do more of these. The 12 Days of Anime thing kind of, re-sparked my love for anime and things like that. So, I might do more of these. We might not. We'll see. I'm looking forward to Pupa. That'll be good. And Strange Plus, or whatever it is. But I'll see you guys around next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.